In this presentation, I'm going to give you a brief preview of the final exams for Block A. The Katovix Cycle 1 exams are given in 3 parts. First, there is the Competency 1 Practical Lab Exam, which is worth 40% of a student's final exam mark. The second part is the Theoretical Situation Exam, which is also worth 40% of a student's final exam mark. And then finally, the Essential Knowledge Exam is worth 20% of a student's final exam mark. For the Block A final exam for this coming year, the experiments or activities in the C1 lab exams will be derived from the culminating activities students would have done during the year. In particular, the final experiments in Atoms in Action, or in The Incredible Journey. As mentioned before, the C1 Practical Lab Exam will be worth 40%, and you'll have a choice of 2 experiments or activities. Each comes in a regular or adapted version. You can see that the adapted version has a little less text. The questions and activities are somewhat easier or might have some hints to assist students. This adapted version gives students who are struggling a better chance for success. There's also teacher guides available for each practical exam, which includes information and evaluation grids for the rest of the exam. The C2 theoretical portion of the exam is worth 40%. As with the practical exams, you'll have a choice of 2 situations, and each comes in a regular or adapted version. Within this part of the final exam, there'll be a selection of certain questions. You should select and instruct students which questions will be used for their exam. Again, the adapted version is worth a maximum of 80%. Each situation, both regular and adapted, have matching answer booklets. The essential knowledge portion of the exam is worth 20%. It also comes in a regular or adapted version. Within this portion of the final exam, you can choose from 10 out of 15 or possibly 16 questions. Each are worth 2 points. The adapted version is worth a maximum of 80%. Again, there are matching answer keys for the regular and adapted essential knowledge exam. All these exams, answer keys, and guides can be found on the DB server. The student booklets and teacher guides have straightforward evaluation tools, like those that you would find in the rest of the program. The practical C1 part of the exam has an individual student marking grid, as does the theoretical C2 part of the exam. The essential knowledge part of the exam is marked out of 20 points. 10 questions, 2 points each. If you use the adapted essential knowledge exam, simply mark the questions out of 20 points and then multiply by 0.8 to get your final mark in that part of the exam. In the answer keys, you'll find class evaluation grids to calculate the summative final exam marks. The Cycle 1 science exams offer teachers a lot of flexibility. You can choose regular or an adapted version of the exam for all 3 portions of the exam, or a mix of the versions. You can also give the same version of the exam to all your students, or you could differentiate the version for individual students to accommodate their specific strengths or limitations. Keep in mind that the weighting for the year is 20% for Term 1, 30% for Term 2, 30% for Term 3, and 20% for the final exam.